Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS news for the 2nd of August, 2025. I hope you all enjoyed that, my most recent video all about the A10C2 tank killer. This time we were demonstrating the data link and all of the functionalities that provides. Next week we're going to start on the weapons, and that should be what you're all, well, I think quite a few of you have been waiting for the cannon. You're looking for that BRT sound, and you're going to be getting it very, very soon now. So, welcome to the stream, Tea Kettle Barbecue, Tricker, Angelo, Angelo, I'm sorry, Orleans Chunky, Tech Gaming 45. Yeah, indeed, there was no stream last week. I was on vacation, but I'm back now, as you can see. Byron Farrow, welcome to the stream. Red wine, fantastic. Alrighty. So yes, going to be continuing the A10C2 series for a little bit longer. There's still a bunch of stuff to cover in that aircraft. It's a lot of fun. Welcome to the stream, Morzo. Also, in the coming weeks, we're going to start a new part of the DCS news where we interview key members of the DCS world community. Now, what that means, I can't announce any names as yet, but we will be starting to interview people that you might find interesting. People you might want to ask questions of and hear what they have to say about the things they've been working on. So, yes, stay tuned for more news on that, but we're not ready to announce any names or dates yet. Luquai, welcome. Mark S, welcome. JP Gibbons, welcome. And somebody else that we're going to welcome right now is John Bloor. Woohoo!
Hello. How you doing, mate?
Welcome to the stream, sir. Yes, I'm doing pretty good. It's like I haven't seen you in ages. It's not like we filmed an A10 video just hours ago.
Exactly. I always think that when you watch like the BBC Sport or something, they'd be like, "Hey, how's it going? It's great to see you." And you're like, they would have done a rehearsal. They would have literally done all their blocking if they've been stood there for 3 hours.
They probably just spoke to each other moments ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but no, yeah, I've been good, and yeah, I hope you have been good as well.
I have. It was nice to take just a little bit of time off, but I did miss you all. It's nice to be back. Mangash, welcome to the stream. So I'll take this opportunity, as always, to ask that if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. Also note that if you'd like to further support the channel, there's John and his coffees again, famously. A man who likes his coffee. If you want to further support the channel, you can click the join button below. You can join Deepak's ground crew for a small monthly fee. It's a really, really big help to me. Thank you very much. Tricker, oh my god, I've been waiting all morning. There's so much news.
The thing is with Tricker is you just don't know what is real or not. Like, he'll be like, "I miss you so much," and I'll be like, "All right," and he's like, "Yeah, I was only joking, I hate you." And I'll get DMs like that from him all the time. Keeps me on my toes.
Well, you know, what is it? Keep them mean and they'll be keen, or something. I don't know.
Treat them mean, keep them keen. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I know how that feels. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Mixed metaphors for the win. Anyway, so yes, there's been 2 newsletters that we've missed, and there is actually some interesting community stuff going on. We do, of course, have a little bit of an update with regards to the Razbam situation. Which is exciting to talk about. Tricker, I'm excited for the episode. For real. No cap. He's removed his headwear. Yes,
he has, and he's got a broccoli haircut underneath it.
But of course. Byron Farrow looking forward to the joint Ron Zambrano, Nick Gray interview. Fireworks guaranteed. Actually, I should send some messages, see if they would like to.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah, like all of these podcast debates, we just watch them go to town. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Oh God.
Yes. We need to teach both of them Yabam.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll just use it liberally between each other. Exactly. Yeah.
I think you'll find that you, sir, are a BAM.
Yeah, anyway. You are a Razbam.
Oh, no. I didn't even think of that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. We have the newsletter from last week. This is the 25th of July. Now, the main thing it talks about is the midweek deals. And I'm going to check first and see Yeah, that has in fact expired. So I'm sorry if you're watching this stream. That whole section of the newsletter is pointless for you. It's already happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, they talk a little bit about the sale. We're going to forget about that just now. But the next part was on Wednesday. We rolled out the update we previewed in last week's newsletter, and your feedback on highly anticipated items, including the new F-16C Advanced Targeting Pod, the FA-18 Terrain Avoidance Mode, and the new AH-64D George AI commands, has been highly appreciated. Please make sure you update your DCS installation to benefit from all the recent fixes and enhancements. And yeah, there's a flight demonstration team. We'll talk about that a little bit later further down. This is where it starts to get a bit interesting.
Indeed.
So this is something they stated in the newsletter, and then also there was some tweets that went back and forth as well, as I recall. So, in response to recent comments and questions made by Razbam Simulations, its proxies and/or external developers, Eagle Dynamics confirms that it signed a settlement agreement with Razbam at the end of 2024 to put an end to the existing disputes, and that such agreement also provides for a strict confidentiality requirement that prevents Eagle Dynamics from disclosing further information. So it sounds like one side is adhering to this, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, anyway. Well, on saying that, though, most of the people who comment are no longer part of Razbam, so I don't know, does the agreement still apply to them? Anyway, who knows?
Yeah.
Eagle Dynamics can, however, confirm that Razbam instructed Eagle Dynamics to cease selling the modules developed by Razbam and its independent developers. All modules continue to function as is, and despite not receiving any access to source codes or cooperation for Razbam and its external developers, Eagle Dynamics will do its best to ensure that these modules continue to function in 2.9.x. So, let's get to this in just a moment. We're still hoping to be able to implement the settlement agreement and to find a satisfactory outcome to the current situation in the best interests of our valued community. I think that's a very, very, very fair point. So, my interpretation here, we have two new pieces of information that I'm not sure had been totally confirmed before. One of them is, despite not receiving any access to source code, is something. This, I think, is the first time the ED have confirmed this. Razbam, of course, said it on multiple occasions. They were saying, basically, we've never given the ED any source code, and we never will give them any source code. We don't intend to do that. Now, this is total conjecture on my part. I would have assumed that the settlement that was agreed in 2024 included Razbam handing over source code, because my understanding is that ED's new agreement with all of their developers is that they do hand over source code. But I have no source for that. This is me just talking out of my backside. So yeah, ED confirmed they don't have the source code. That, of course, is worrying. Other new piece of information here is that they're going to do their best to ensure these modules continue to function in 2.9.x. Now, that's a very, very specific limitation that we didn't hear before. What we heard in the past was they were going to try and effectively wall these modules away from kind of core engine changes so that they would continue to work. So this sounds like ED are now putting in place a limitation. And I'm sure we could debate at length why they might be doing that, but I'll let you comment, John.
Right. Okay. Let's break this down a little bit. So it looks like something happened, didn't it, between end of 2024 and now, which caused a problem, or something didn't happen exactly. Yes. So I mean, the word on the street is that the payments didn't go through, or again, there was some sort of issue with payments or something like that. The problem we have is twofold, is that we're only hearing something from one side. Yes. And we're also only hearing like stuff that side would say. You know, it's not like they've said, oh, we screwed up, but this. They're going, we've done nothing wrong, and they're not getting paid. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they've kind of provided a balanced view. It's not like, they've gone, oh, yeah, we did this wrong, but they have done this wrong. It's just straight up like, no, that's it. Yeah. So that's the first thing that's interesting. The second thing, which is interesting to me, and you touched on it just there, is the as is, and then the 2 dot dash whatever it is dot x.
2.9.x. Yeah.
Yeah. So that tells me that in ED's internal roadmap, when it hits either 2.dash.10 or if it becomes 3.0 at that point, whatever the next iteration is from 2.9, that there's going to be something big. That at least we got no time frame for what that is, but what that does tell us at least is 2.10 or 3.0 is a technological jump, whether that's Vulkan, whether that's something else, or a refactor of some sorts, or whatever.
Orleans Junkie is actually saying, yeah, he would expect that to either be Vulkan or dynamic campaigns.
Yeah.
To be fair, either of those are large features that could have an impact on modules. So and these are all guesses, of course, unless ED comment, then we just don't know. But
so
yes.
The thing you can't glean from that 2.9 bit is that might just be them covering their asses and saying there's going to be a big change at that point, and we don't know if it's going to work. It might be fine. Like dynamic campaign may not even touch modules. That might be fine. Like, why would it? But it probably they recognize that there's going to be a big change at whatever that next patch is, and at that point there's a higher chance that they might break.
Yeah.
And how much they break could be something as simple as like a switch not working. It could be that they just don't even work. Now, I think there's a couple of things I take from that. So that's the first thing. Could be just be them covering themselves. It could be also that they're looking ahead and they're like, it's almost, we don't know, we're not in the head. They could be like, oh, it's almost definitely going to break. So we've got anything from it's definitely going to break at that point, or it's a very high chance.
It's like the confidence level dropping.
Yeah, at that point, the confidence level is massively dropping. Now, the next thing that I just want to comment on with this is that if we can take a step back a moment about the whole thing, and I think I talk for a lot of people here, this entire fiasco has been a joke. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely childish behavior, and this should never have happened, and this is ridiculous. Now, I don't look at either side in this as squeaky clean. I think, at the very least, this has done huge amounts of damage to both ED and Razbam. As far as I'm concerned, I think Razbam have committed business seppuku, but I'd like to be wrong because I think they do amazing products, and I'd like them to maybe move on to a different simulator and continue working and stuff.
There's definitely no argument when it comes to like the quality of Razbam's modules.
Yeah.
If you exclude some strange bugs in the Harrier, like let's look at the M2000C and the F15E. They are both exemplary modules, I think.
Amazing. And how good the F15E was at release, very, very good. And the fact it's still not broken really is also a sign. The Harrier's still not broken. Yeah. So the fact they've lasted this long is definitely something to do at least with how the quality, and just generally they're just great modules. So it has no comment on their quality of their modules, but this entire fiasco has been handled awfully, and to see the kind of things coming out via social media is also unbelievable. I think that there should be some serious, if there's anything to be learned from it, I think certain individuals on both sides need to take a step back and think to themselves how they handle their PR in future, because this has been an absolute disaster. And there are people, what I found hilarious is I was another person stream the other day, and this person doesn't even really stream DCS, and they got into a conversation about DCS, and there was people in the stream who don't even play DCS, have never played an hour of DCS, yet they know about the Razbam and ED drama.
Of course.
And so that should, it's really like, it's like a parasite. This whole problem has been a parasite that's kind of infected everything and gone out. And all I worry about when I read this is if ED, if they do a hawk with this, in that they say VAO hawk, it's not the same, but if they do a hawk where they say, sorry guys, but we're not going to look after it after 2.9 whatever, and if you want to fly it, you're going to have to use an old version, but other than that, we're giving you nothing else. Yeah. I'm telling you now, there will be a riot. And I'm telling you now, what will happen is I wouldn't be surprised if this story, if that does become to that, starts bleeding out into general gaming journalism. Does that make sense? You got these commentators, your Mutahars, I could see this becoming like a viral story and getting really bad. Because at the moment, it's mostly contained within DCS. but I could see a big blowback, and I can see a lot of people being really, pardon my French, pissed off about this. So my question is, if that's what happens, if we go no further with this and these modules effectively die, I want to know what Eagle Dynamics are going to do about it, because they can't just bury this. This is not something they can bury. The Hawk, it sounds like the Hawk, there was a bit of give and take, and it sounds like there were some issues both sides, but that was early on. I understand that they were both the VAOA, whatever they're called, and ED were cutting their teeth and blah, blah. I can understand stuff like that, but at this stage now, if they just think that they can just bury it, I think that's going to really blow back on them. So I think they need to. The question I have is I'm not really worried about. It's not. I'm not worried about getting the Razbam modules back, but I think all I'm really concerned about is what's next, and they're going to have to claw back a lot of trust that they've already lost, and they're going to have to do it in the right way. So, what does that look like? Is the question. And to me, that looks like three things. It looks like they either produce their own versions of these modules and they figure out how to do their own version, and then there's like a trade-in system. They either offer full refunds, or most of a refund, or something like that, or like whatever it is, or credit of some sorts, which is probably more likely, like ED miles or something equivalent of modules worth, or they. The best option, I would say, the best option for everyone is that it does get sorted out, and at the very minimum, Razbam finishes the Strike Eagle and just maintains them, and they have a very cold, cool relationship between two companies. As long as that's happening, that's probably the best case for everyone. But yeah, I don't think that. Then the other fourth thing is that Razbam eventually go, you know what? Why are we holding on to these? We'll just sell the modules. And as long as we get the money, we'll give them the code, and there you go. And they can walk away with a bunch of capital, and they can put that money into whatever they do next. The best case scenario is I want Razbam to continue being a thing. I want them to continue making modules, because I think they make exceptional products. But I do think, and I think ED makes exceptional products, but I just think this whole thing has just been unbelievable. And I think, I really hope that ED is aware of how much this has salted the broth. This is really has, and we're very. I'm not picking. I think both have not handled this well, but I think a lot of people you talk to are like, this is a bit. Now there are also a lot of people who are just like, getting on about their life and doing their things and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people just don't care. They just fire up DCS, they fly it for a couple of hours and go home, and that's fine. But yeah, I think this has potential to blow up. So that's what I want to know next. That's the questions I've got really going forward from this stuff, is what they're going to do about these modules. And if I was a betting man, I would say, and this is with a slight dose of optimism, but if I was a betting man, I would say that the ED would either get the source code or whatever, or remake these. I've said this, and this is not new to you or anyone who's watched these streams. I think that the F-15C is partly a tooling up for the F-15E. I think it was an insurance. They're like, well, might as well make an F-15C in the meantime. We'll see how this plays out with Razbam, and if it goes south, we can make a F-15 out of it, and we've got that technology, that skill set that we're tooling up for.
We have seen in multiple occasions ED being quite smart about the choices of technology and modules that they choose to develop.
They're not daft.
Yeah, they are quite good at this. I'll say my piece. I fall into the camp where at first I kind of didn't care. Like I was willing to be like, okay, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to see what happens. I'm not too bothered about this, honestly. I expect that somebody will do the right thing at some point, and I just need to be patient.
Yeah.
And I still very much fall into that category. But what I will say is that in conversations that I've had with simmers, of course, I'm in the VAF, so I speak to lots of simmers in the VAF. And of course, through my channel, I have conversations with lots of people who are very interested in flight simulation in general, and DCS in particular. And those comments they're more worried than I am, I have to say. Most people are more worried than I am. And it feels, based on these comments, a lot of people feel like this kind of rocks the entire foundation of third-party module development for DCS. I hear the same comment so often, and it tends to be people saying, I won't buy another third-party module. So lots of people, and whether they actually follow through on that threat or not, who knows? But lots of people kind of saying, I feel fine about buying ED's modules because I feel like those are going to be okay and they'll always be supported. But then looking at anything third-party, people are now questioning whether or not this is a sound investment. And I think that sentiment is throughout the DCS world community. Now, one thing that I would say to counter that, I always like to be balanced, think about other flight simulations, which provide third-party modules. A really obvious one being Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
You know, how often do you think this situation has happened in Microsoft Flight Simulator over the years? I would suspect tens of times, if not even over 100 times, this has probably happened in MSFS. How many abandoned aircraft modules are there in X-Plane? So I wonder if we hold DCS World to some higher standard than we do other flight simulators, because I'm certain that there are so many broken and abandoned aircraft modules out there for other flight sims.
I agree. Yeah.
However, on saying that, for these other flight simulators, there's far more choice. You know, DCS World has a much smaller number of developers and a much smaller number of modules. But anyway, just wanted to put that in there for a little bit of balance. Would people be as irritated? Would people react as negatively to this same thing happening with Microsoft Flight Simulator? I suggest they would not.
I think the two questions you've got to ask yourself, there's a difference between Microsoft Flight Simulator and DCS, is first of all, I don't know this, how much are people paying for MSFS modules compared to a DCS module? I think it's quite a lot more in DCS.
Anything up to like over $100 for some very high-end ones. Normal ones are anywhere between like 30 and 80. So actually, most of them are a very similar price point to DCS World. Yeah.
And then the second thing I would say is it's not just about money invested, but time as well. Like and also the third thing I would probably say is with MSFS and X-Plane and stuff is like if a 737 disappears, there's probably 2 or 3 other S737s. Now, are they going to be as good or better or worse? But do you know what I mean? If like a 737 disappears for MSFS, there's probably 2 or 3 other companies that have done. They might be the same mark, but they'll be close enough. You know, there'll be something very similar. Problem is like if we lose the Strike Eagle, there's no Strike Eagle. It's not a second Strike Eagle. If we lose the Harrier, there's no another Harrier. There's no Mirage 2000. So this is the issue, I think. And because DCS is really about this sort of like, I say combined arms, that's going to trigger people, but this idea of combined arms, different jets and different aircraft working together. I mean, that's the appeal massively for me, is the fact that I can jump in a Kiowa, you can jump in a Tornado. Hopefully we'll get that one here soon. And you can drop a laser guided bomb, and I can like laser for you. And that's crazy. I've not seen that in games before. So that's one of the huge things about DCS, which is a huge appeal. One of the things I watched the other day was a really interesting article, and it talked about how old games, that we're in this weird place right now with games in general, is that old games, you like, if you think of like a Call of Duty, right? I know that's going to make some people scree and just hearing that word, but if you think of like, say, the first Modern Warfare, COD 4, like that was the game, it got released, you might get like a map pack for it, but that was it. That's all it looked like. And the game that was released was, apart from patching things and tweaking things if they broke, the game you got of COD 4 was pretty much the same game as what you got at release if you played it 5 years later. But now when you look at games, they have this content creep. So like if you play a game, let's use an example, like Call of Duty, the new Call of Duties, like they're constantly messing with the formula, so to speak. They're adding new content. You know, the joke is that you got like Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg running around with like golden AKs and stuff. Yes. But you've got this, the game is changing. They're tweaking, they're adding new game modes. And like what the game is in 2022 or 2023 is not the same game as it is in 2025. So like the game is massively changing. And arguably DCS actually sits in that category, because back in the day, and you can see them over my shoulder, you'd get F-15E, Longbow, you know, Eurofighter, Typhoon. You'd get that game, EF-2000, and again, other than maybe you might get an expansion pack, the game was the game, and then they'd move on to the successor. They'd work on Longbow 1 and Longbow 2 and then F-15, F-15 2. It was that. So these games are now, they're lasting a lot longer, and they're constantly tweaking the game, and so this is a new
game
problem.
Development, we talk about a game having a long tail. And DCS World arguably has one of the longest tails, really. Because am I right in saying that the first release of DCS World was 2008? So we're approaching 20 years at this point. So it's getting to be quite a long tail.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of to join you in this, Deep, as much as it is crap that we're losing stuff, and I think that ED do need to find a way to handle this right. And I'm not saying, I just want to be really clear, I'm not saying this is like I'm threatening DC or I think they should or shouldn't get things. I'm just telling you this has the risk to kind of blow up big time, and it's the kind of thing. It's a bit like we've not all that long ago had, was it, stop getting games and stuff.
Yes,
I think it's a great thing,
it's still underway.
Yeah, and this almost has it may not have a foot in it, but it has a toe in this stuff. You know, this idea of like allowing things to stay alive and digital conservation and stuff. And I've actually, as you know, I've argued pro for DCS in the way that, like, I think this is in a pro way. This is digital conservation. Like, you look at Tomcat,
absolutely is.
And it's a great resource. And I you know what, there's a lot of things I may have criticism of ED, but I think they do a lot of things right. Yeah. But yeah, I that's the thing. I think people need to look at the precedents around, and it's what often happens, and I see it over and over again, is every single game community thinks they've got it worse. They're like, oh, they never listen to us, their content managers are terrible, and then you go somewhere else and it's the same story over and over again, like over and over again. And I don't believe they're all bad, and I don't think they're all good. I think it's just some of them do better stuff than others and all that sort of stuff. I don't think ED is stupid. Like you, I think they will figure out a way to do it. As you know, with PR, it's not just also what you say, it's what you don't say, and it's also when you say it and when you do things. And that's really key. If some of you are, I'm sure some of you are going to go, yeah, we were literally talking about this the other day, earlier today, me and Deep, about the whole SIG P320 debacle and how basically SIG Sauer are screwed. Let's be honest. But their problem is that they're kind of painted into a corner, and they're not able to probably do what would be called the right thing, because if they did, it was probably would kill their company. So they're having to find this, as crappy as it is, as scummy as you could argue, some could argue it is, they've got to find a way to kind of like navigate it. And it's really easy for us players to just be like, why didn't they just do this? Why didn't they just do that?
It reminds me of a little bit of the main character in Fight Club, when he's on the plane talking to the passenger beside him, talking about the mathematics and the statistics behind doing car recalls. If the cost of the recall is greater than the cost of the potential court cases, we don't do one.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Someone just put it up in here in chat. I just saw this, and I think it's a good idea actually. Is Mangash just said they should be a game plan for sunsetting a module. Yeah. So if they think a module is starting to get on its, you know, if it is, this is a huge part. Okay, so you could, Mangash raises a really good point. Communication is really important. And I think just being open and honest with these things and not trying to, you know, you can, how do I put this and not sound like a knob? You can maybe pull the wool over someone's eyes who plays Call of Duty, but I don't think you can easily pull the wool over someone's eyes that plays DCS. And that's not saying that DCS players are better than COD 2 players. I'm just saying, generally speaking,
we're probably just older.
Yeah, we're older. We've been around longer. We've probably all been scammed in some way or another, or been screwed around in some way or another. We know what it looks like. Also, to have the patience to learn a targeting pod and everything, you're not someone with a short attention span, generally speaking. So yeah, I think it's a bit harder. I think it's fair to say it's slightly harder to pull the wool over people's eyes who do DCS. Don't get me wrong, that's not to say that can't happen, but yeah, I think this has to be handled the right way. So yeah, I that's how I feel. I just want them to do the right thing, and I think the right thing is to figure that out. Absolute best case scenario, I think, is that Razbam, because I want Razbam to come out of this and not get screwed over, is that Razbam gets their payment, they get to finish the F-15E, they get to basically, what's the word, sort of caretake their modules, and then they have a cool relationship, not a fun, they're never going to be friends again, but they have a cool relationship. What's the old thing, when you get couple divorce, you're polite to each other for the kids, because you want the kids to, it's all about the kids, it's all about
keep
the modules.
Business-like.
Yeah, keep it business-like, and then other than that, you don't have to be friends, you just have to do it business-like. If that's the way it can go, and I'm sure there's people on both sides that want that to happen, I'm sure there are, not all of them, but sure there's some are, then that's cool. And I think if they do that, that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is this goes nowhere. ED thinks this is just going to disappear, and it won't. I promise you, it won't. Yeah. And it's going to blow back. So yeah, that's how I see it. But I don't know about you guys. It's very entertaining, but I am also like sick to death of this freaking topic. Yeah. I think I could speak for everyone. We just fix it. Just stop it. We just want to fly. God damn it,
Well, and let's jump in and have a little look at what chat have been saying, and then perhaps we'll wrap this one up for just now, because we have lots more news.
Yeah.
Golden Gnu. I'm going to be way more careful about third-party modules, but let's be real. I'm not going to pass on the Eurofighter.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. What other ones have we got here? J Honor. I take a 1-for-1 store credit for dead modules. DCS is simply the only product in its genre.
I agree.
Yeah. What else have we got going on here? Golden Gnu. Everyone want Razbam back in the fold. Alternative, give the money they stole from Razbam to the people with their modules. I don't think anyone has stolen any money, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
I see. Anything else? Lost Deadbeat. I remember when I was as optimistic as John Blair.
Sweet summer child, you. Oz, I tell you what, if you guys don't know Oz is a very knowledgeable person with DCS, and he's a very nice guy, and he's been very helpful for me in the past. He's kind of shut off his own back kind of guy. I had some issues of DCS, and he sat down with me and figured out what my computer was doing. Very nice guy, and definitely knows his stuff. I would say, like anything, was it familiarity breeds contempt? Yes. So it's probably a bit of that, and I understand it. You're never going to see a school caretaker who's going to love the kids, that's for sure. When he's having to clean up with a mop what they've just done. But yeah, I think that's fair. Look, I get both sides of this. I get some people just want to get stuff sorted and are want a positive thing. I do believe a little bit in like I'm always like pragmatism at the end of the day. And also, I also believe in the idea of watch what the hands are doing, not what the mouth is saying. So that's what I'm interested in. I don't care what ED says. I care about what ED does.
Yeah. And of course, we're all focusing on that 2.9.x comment. That's not a hard line. So like they're not saying, the next version comes and it's all broken. But they're not committing beyond that. And I'm assuming that's because there must be at least some uncertainty. So I think we can wait and see what happens. It's Jovier. I wonder how many people are going to stay on 2.9, considering 3/11ths of the 4th gen fighters will now be abandonware. Well, I think we have precedent for this. Look at how many people retained older versions of DCS. Was it 2.5 for the Hawk? I forget now. Like today, if you purchased the VEAO, if you had already purchased a VEAO Hawk, you of course cannot do that anymore. But if you already have it, there is a version of DCS World that you can install and still fly the Hawk. It is possible. How many people actually do that? I suggest probably not very many. But it's possible should you want to do so. So,
and then the problem you get there is this whole debate around the
1.5.
The different maps.
Sorry, I thought it was 2.5. Wow, okay, that was a while ago.
Wow. Yeah. The other debate you then getting into is if you start doing that, you're starting to break up the player base, and that's really not good. You do not want to break up the player base, and that's the biggest problem they have at the moment when it comes to maps. for multiplayer maps and stuff like that. That's a conundrum ED need to figure out, or whoever's doing this needs to figure out, is how do you stop breaking up the player base? And that will definitely do that.
Teeks, we've already gone over that, Teeks, and that's kind of that's the leading assumption here.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. I'm sure we're going to be discussing this topic a lot more, I'm certain, but let's move on for now. There was a DCS update last week, and it brought us a lot of tasty stuff. DCS Core, some AI flight models such as the B1B saw improved taxi and takeoff rotation characteristics, and both the B1B and B52H received more realistic long-range strike mission payloads. Mission builders may notice new and improved tooltips and stability fixes, while mission creators receive enhanced ADO script and ADO file calls that pass arguments and return values. Spotting dots have been improved. We seem to hear that regularly.
Yeah.
Voice chat crashes have been stamped out, and we corrected warhead modeling for Mark 80 and related GPUs. I need to dive in more to this, but my understanding is that they actually implemented a fragmentation model.
Yeah, I'd like to know a bit more about this. I don't know if they're going to put a white paper out, because they often do, don't they, with these things? They'll put a little white paper out, but I'd love to know a bit more about this. I don't know. I'm actually at the stage now where I suspect the actual bombs, this is going to sound funny to say this, I suspect the bombs themselves are probably doing roughly what they're supposed to be doing. It's now the issue that the AI or ground units, because they still use that kind of health bar system, as far as I'm aware.
Not entirely.
Because
there's some complications to it. There is still an overall health bar. I don't know all of the details, but I do know that, for example, tanks, you cause different amounts of damage depending on whether it's top armor, side armor, front armor, etc. Things like mobility kills are possible. But I don't exactly understand the mechanism. So it's no longer just a health bar, but it's kind of a health bar and some other stuff bolted on, as far as I can tell.
Because I'd like to see stuff like, and the problem is you need visual feedback for this, or some sort of feedback for this, is that stuff like tracking a tank, taking out its engine, taking out its optics. I mean, you're not necessarily going to know that, but if that's implemented, I also love to see stuff like, because you see it all the time, tank gets taken out and the guy's just like, screw this, I'm going home.
Yes.
I'm going out. They cut Eric Cartman. They just bail. That would be really cool, seeing stuff like that. The patches pop and they run away, and the tank's still there. It's still not burning, but it's that kind of stuff. So yeah, a bit. I think that's maybe the second half of the equation that now needs to be looked at as this fair enough. The bombs are kind of behaving correctly. It's like, what's the stuff now around it? How do things react to those bombs?
Yes.
Or weapons and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's it wasn't all that long ago. It wasn't forever ago when I remember dropping a Mark 82 literally right next to a tank, and it just would 2% would come off of it. So the fact that things are a lot better now, it's an improvement, right? It's
for sure.
A much better thing. Yeah.
For sure.
And I like to think, an ED, you're probably like, oh, great. But
we'd rather you didn't.
I'd rather you didn't think, John, but I like to think that it's a bit like, do you know when you go into your kitchen and you clean the tops and then you suddenly realize how dirty the tiles are? So it's, do you know what I mean? It makes you realize, once you clean one thing, you realize, oh, I've got to fix this, not going to fix that. So I tend to think it always has that knock-on effect. So I'm sure the coders at ED are sure they're sweating, their brows are sweating, and they're thinking, there's always something we got to fix.
Leave it in a better state than you found it.
Exactly. But yeah, most of the things are working better. Like I said, it's the units now. I think I suspect that's the other side of the equation that needs to be sorted. And I think the reason why, if anyone's like, why is the ground AI not great? Why does it still not behave correctly? Why do ground units not get tracked or well, up until, I know we had the Huey and stuff like that, and we had the Black Shock, but most of the stuff has been stuff at 20,000 feet, isn't it? You fly along, you drop a GBU on a bomb, a tank, you see the tank blow up, a couple of tanks move, and then you fly away, and it's all at high level. Now we've got all these helicopters, and we're 50 feet off the ground, and we're seeing this stuff up close.
Yeah.
You're seeing the stuff now under the microscope, and to be fair, they have been improving a lot of this stuff. I mean, literally yesterday I was flying on the Cold War Germany, and my jaw dropped at how much detail is in that. yeah, like we were flying along and we were looking down and there was like tennis courts and they'd modelled the freaking umpire seats next to the tennis court. Now, I know that's like Ugro, but still, just I was like, so it's there. It's the possibility for this level of details there.
Oh yeah,
it's just
yeah.
other stuff's got to catch up, So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad to see the bombs are improved anyway.
Definitely. And Eagle Dynamics module's got some updates. The F-16C Viper now features our first iteration of the AN/AAQ-33 Advanced Targeting Pod, we know it by another name, and will exit early access following the end of the sale. Based on its roadmap, all planned early access features have now been delivered, but it will continue to be supported with additional features: the towed decoy, improved data modem, radar warning receiver handoff mode, and continued data transfer cartridge work. This is in parallel with continued bug fixing and tuning. We also recognize that there are some additional features that some customers desire, but those fall outside the stated scope of the product or would be inaccurate. I wonder, what are they referring to there?
That's got to be things like APKWS and like the small diameter bombs and all those sorts of things. It's going to be that sort of stuff. And like
there were, like things like small diameter bombs. I did see the discussion about that in the forum, and it doesn't match the time scale or the particular version.
Here's what fixes this problem, right? Here's a suggestion, and I could be wrong here. If they create, here's what I did. If you do two things, it shuts people
just
up.
Two.
Right?
That's all you have to do. Just two things.
Just two things, right? So simple, so simple. But if you do two things, it shuts people up, right? First of all, if you put in tell them to shut up. That's number one. Tell people to shut up, which you already do, so that's fine. But and it's very funny. But yeah, so first thing is create a mod manager, an official mod manager, so that the average Joe can be like, oh, it's really easy to install a mod. Or even things where like you join a server, a bit like Armor. You join a server on Armor and it would be like, these mods are needed, and it auto downloads. That would, first of all, that would be a great thing, right? That would get people playing with mods and doing stuff. Second, if you then give some mod makers more tools to do stuff. Now, I know they want to look after their modules and they want to encrypt certain things and they don't want stuff stolen. I get that. But if you give mod makers more tools to do little things, I can't imagine it's a gazillion miles hard to stick an APKWS pod on a F-16, and you then
probably actually do it just with some Lua edits.
Yeah, exactly. You could do Lua edits and put that on there, and then it would read the laser and all that stuff, right? So if you are like, look, we're really tired of hearing people banging on about APKWS, we're not going to add APKWS, but if you give them the tools to make that really simple, and I keep screaming this, the mod ED, your modding community there's some scarily talented people and scarily creative people there. Scary, I mean that in a good way. And so give those guys what they need to do stuff, and you don't have to listen to this people rivet counters asking you for weird little things, because they can get a modder to do it. And then what makes modders want to do it? Like, you're not going to make a mod if no one's going to fly it, because no one wants to install it, because no mod servers support it. But if you make it easy for servers to support mods, and you make it easy for people to make them, and you make it easy for people to install them, this goes away. And all you have to do is you can say, we're going to make a 2007 F-16. And then what you get to say is, that's really cool. We agree with you, but it's not financially viable for us because it's just creep and we're just adding stuff and it's costing us money.
Yeah.
And then second of all, like, because that's fair. That's a totally fair argument, by the way. That's a completely fair argument. Second of all, what that does is it frees them up, and they can just say, you know what, why don't you ask one of the mod makers to do it? And then they'll do it, and then you can fly on a server and you can have APKWS on your F-16 and all that kind of stuff. So like, it would just fix all these problems. And then they don't have to say, not accurate for a model. They can just be like, go, a mod has already done it, and they can just link to the mod in the forums.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And the thing is,
fixes lots of problems.
Everybody has their own idea about what level of kind of fidelity and realism they want. I quite like the fidelity. I quite like the realism as much as possible. And so I'm not interested in random weapons being bolted onto aircraft that they never carried. That doesn't interest me, but it does interest a lot of people. A lot of people want to recreate these kinds of what if scenarios, or they want to recreate aircraft versions of the aircraft that were fielded by other countries. So
Yeah.
I think that's legit. And yeah, as you say, with mods, that could be accounted for.
People could, like, the age-old thing we've heard a gazillion times is stingers on the Apache. Like, everyone wants stingers on the Apache. And technically speaking, I mean, is it the Taiwanese, the Japanese? I think they have stingers on their Apaches, and it's a very similar. It's a D model as well. It's not an E model; it's a D model. So like they do exist. Someone could probably make a mod for it, and then it also doesn't break IC. So when if you've got a proper mod manager, it only like maybe loads that mod if the server wants that mod. And you can jump on that server, and then you can have a server with stingers on the Apache. And then if you don't want to, that's fine, because there's different levels, isn't it? Like you said, you want to have like realism.
Yeah.
Right, but like APKWS on an F16 or stingers on an Apache are not that crazy. You're like, yeah, cool. But if someone starts sticking like AMRAMs on an Apache, you're like, hey, come on now.
Honestly, I've always been a little bit confused by the stingers on the Apache one, though, because to me, that's pretty. In my head, that's very limited utility. Like, I don't care about having stingers on my Apache. I want more hellfires.
I do. Yeah. Well, you haven't played on contention. That's why, because contention is airquake, and the amount of people, and I've flown on there, and I'm like, God damn, I need some stingers, because you're in an Apache and you just get bullied by people.
Yeah,
she's like, I want stingers. Yeah.
So, then take the Gazelle up and shoot some. What's the air it has again?
Oh, Mistrals. Yeah, Mistrals. Yeah. Or Mistrals, as they say. But yeah, look, I'm always pro opportunity for people, and like if you want to make the game yourself and modders, and if you want to make your server that way, I think giving people more options, all the better. Like I think that's always the best thing, because what you're going to find then, it's a bit like, Joe, the argument of like free markets, right? The argument is that competition rises to the top that way. So when people get worried, they're like, oh, it's gonna make everything a mess. No, because like all the best mods and then all the best servers and all the best maps are going to be the ones that people fly on. So all you're really doing is you're just making it so you get to see naturally what people prefer. And that's what you're going to get, really. So yeah, and again, if you have a mod manager, you have a way. It's easy for people to install them, easy for servers to do them, easy for people to make it. It solves a bunch of these problems, and they go away.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah,
it's like Tech Gaming 45 says. Yeah, you put stingers on your Apache, you lose the MWS. I know which one I would rather have.
I would rather the MWS, but that's a cool trade-off. Like, you don't get it for free. That's pretty cool. You don't get it for free. So like, yeah. That makes it interesting. That immediately makes it interesting then. So if you load up your Apache, you got to pick between stingers or MWS, and you're like, what do I do with? And then I bet you all the people will be like, want my MWS back. So you're not going to keep everyone happy. But
Shimples.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Exactly.
Other updates, the FA-18C boasts the new terrain avoidance radar mode. That's in. For our helicopter buffs, the DCS C130J now offers more advanced George AI co-pilot gunner commands, and the DCS Black Shark 3 includes a new instant action mission or missions for the Iraq map. When it comes to George, I know that you took him out for a spin and you were complimentary about his capabilities.
Oh my god, he's way better. So I need to play with him a bit more. Freezing. But basically, he's a lot better. I think what they could do. So there's the only two. I'll start off with the negative, and I'll go on to bad first and good better. When I say negative, it's not that it's bad. It's just that it could do with a little bit of tweaking. First thing is, it would be cool if they could have some of the George commands have their own binds. Does that make sense? You don't always have to navigate through that wheel. It's a cool system, actually. I do like the wheel, but there's a couple ones where I'm like, I could use that. Like, there's only certain things you can do when you have certain because they're limited with the George up, down, left, right, and stuff. Because you have like long and then you have short. Basically, that's the way it kind of works. It works like a bit like a DMS or a TMS, whatever. So there's a couple things I think what they could do is in the George AI. You got the tab for your bindings. They could add a bunch of these things so you could bind it to what you want. That would be really, really cool. I think that would be a really useful improvement. The second thing I would like to see, and it's not desperate, but I think it would be really helpful, is laser spot track, or whatever it is, laser search, spot search. So that's the mode where
having him do
it. It scans. It's almost like a cage seam thing. It scans. So what you've got now is you with George, you can get him to look forward. You get him to look really where the TADS is looking in general, and he'll start scanning by himself, by the way, which is kind of cool. That's really cool. So you can just kind of leave him doing it, and he'll look for targets. You can get him to look. You can get him to effectively to VID your FCR targets, so he'll look through and he'll like check them and also tell you what they are. Because obviously it knows it's a tank, the FCR, but doesn't know what it is. So he can look at it and go, "Oh, it's a T-72," and that's really cool. You can get him to look at waypoints. So when you save points, target points or waypoints in your system, you can get him to look at those, which is really cool. So that people have been asking for that for a while. So you can slave him to a target point and get him to just keep scanning that area or to do a normal search. And then the other thing, which is really cool, is you can queue up, like, say, 4 targets. You give him consent to fire, and he'll just hit each target, and you can just leave him doing it. So you don't have to get him to research for a target each time and engage them. He'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he'll hit each one in a row. So that's really cool as well. The other thing, it's a small thing that's broken. There's something's broken, so he doesn't. When you co-op rockets with him at the moment, it's not working. But we'll get into the patch notes later on. They're looking to fix that. But yeah, other than that, he's way better. And the last thing I'd think would be nice to have as well, because I think Petrovich does it, is if he called out incoming fire and stuff like that, if he sees it, you know.
I remember you mentioning
that's really
that.
Cool.
That is a very nice feature.
It's a really, really cool feature. And as far as I know, tell me if I'm wrong, chat or Deep, I'm pretty sure that ED have said the 2 techs are linked. So generally speaking, if Petrovich and the George technology is not one and the same, but you know, generally when they improve one, it kind of bleeds onto the other. I think they're kind of related. So maybe we could get that. But yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, it's such an improvement. If you guys haven't flown the Apache for a while, get into it. There's a ED forum post that gets into. I think it's actually on the mini updates thread, whatever they call it. Yeah, and it talks about how to use him and stuff. It's a little bit confusing if you use him already, but you'll quickly get your head around it. And yeah, he's hugely improved.
Yeah. Ozdead meet at Tricker. Apparently, all 4 pylons can be smart pylons depending on where running on the jet. Tricker saying my software is Windows XP, and Ozdead meet saying my software is unlicensed. So, are you saying you work for Aeroflot? Is that what that is?
Ozdead Meat fires up his F-16, and in the bottom right corner of his MFD, it says, "Please activate Windows." Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Windows ME for the win. Oof,
yeah.
That's probably the worst 9X version, but anyway.
Crikey.
Yes, in any case, moving on. Yeah. Third-party modules. The recently launched F4U1D Corsair by Magnitude has received an impressive follow-up with new art and mission editor functionality. The DCS OH58D Kiowa Warrior by Polyshop received attention too, and the JF-17 Thunder by Deca Ironworks got some needed fixes as well. Additionally, the DCS Cold War Germany map by Ugra Media got its long-awaited improved destruction models and Phase 1 enhancements. This update is now live, so if you haven't downloaded it, please do so and let us know how the changes feel in your cockpit. For a list of changes, go to the full changelog. We'll be doing that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, we're going through all the different Windows versions now.
Yeah. Quick note about the Kiowa, by the way. And it was in their Discord. Apparently, ED made a little bit of a boo-boo, and that patch that they've just stated for the Kiowa is not in the game at the moment. Something went wrong, and they forgot to add it. But they are, by the way, it will be in the next. So they're very small bug fixes. It's not like, I mean, I flew the Kiowa yesterday, and it was fine. So I think it's to do with some weird menus and stuff.
Generally.
Yeah. It's a great module.
So there's community spotlight for the Digital Blue Angels, formed by flight sim enthusiasts scattered across the United States. The Digital Blue Angels pour hundreds of practice hours into reproducing every break, roll, and formation change you'd see at a real-world airshow. Their goal is simple: inspire our community by showcasing naval aviation at its finest. In the process, they honor the professionalism of the US Navy's demonstration squadron. Flying the F-A-18C in DCS gives them the fidelity they need to nail the Blue Angels team's graceful Diamond 360 and heart-stopping opposing knife-edge pass trademark maneuvers. If you're a budding naval aviator, a Blue Angels superfan, or just hunting for your next dose of inspiration, then you've been invited to join the Digital Blue Angels Discord. Woohoo!
It's cool.
Alrighty.
That's really cool.
And then we've got the changelog. So we did, in fact, get a little hotfix after the big 2.9.18 update. However, it doesn't have those fixes you're talking about for the Kiowa Warrior. We saw, like they say here, fixes to the weapons. Actually, they go into some more detail about this here. Changes for SAM bombs. Most rocket warhead families are already set up with parameters that match our available sources. Actual effect on target is subject to change, along with implementation of the fragmentation model. Okay. So apparently we missed mentioning this in June 18's update. So this is already in. This has already been in. There is a fragmentation model in the game now. And it sounds like most dumb bombs, guided bombs, and rockets have it. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We got these big changes to the scripting API. It's worth checking that over if you're into that kind of stuff, if you're doing scripting. F-16 got the advanced targeting pod, which is very exciting. And again, they mentioned the fact that the F-16 is now out of early access with the delivery of the ATP. The F-18C got the terrain avoidance radar mode, and then it got a bunch of fixes as well. H-64D got the new George AI abilities, which is very, very exciting. But then there's also actually a bunch of other new stuff. So this is kind of cool. Toggling TAD's field of view, toggle sensor, tracking to a target, adjusting TAD's crosshairs. Actually, this is things that you can tell George to do, right? I didn't quite get that. Right. I thought these were features that you could access, but I guess they're already in.
Yeah.
And as you say, no an issue, George will not action rockets to enter co-op rocket mode after setting AI interface to rocket. So that's worth mentioning. Golden GNU, wasn't the scripting change reverted? Oh, let's have a little quick...
It was, for the moment, I think.
It was, you're right, in the hotfix. Okay, that's worth mentioning. DTC changes, so added current hill radars and CMDS template tables. So that's very exciting, because of Current Hill, we have a bunch of brand new SAM systems, which is nice.
Yeah, really cool.
And there's a hotkey now to get to DTC, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The CH-47F, we've got a bunch of avionics additions, which look very tasty. And then after that, it's mostly small stuff, apart from the F4U1D. Whole bunch of stuff in here. I'm not going to go through this one because, as you all know, I don't really care about World War II stuff. But it looks like this is a nice big update for the F4U.
Yeah.
JF-17 got some fixes, and they're saying to do air-to-air radar resolution for close targets. So that's obviously something that's going to be coming later, which is kind of cool. Mirage F1 by Aegis. They've got some fixes here, and the C101. As I always say, Aegis. There's always always an update every single time for their stuff. It's nice to see. Venom, welcome to the stream. Ahoy. And then this decent-sized update for Cold War Germany map, which is very, very nice to see.
And a bunch of stuff for campaigns as well, looks like,
cool.
Lots of campaign fixes
too.
Do you reckon we should really start worrying about DCS when we don't see an update by Aegis and Avio? Like, do you reckon it's something like
that's the Canary
film? Is it Cabin in the Woods where they have to they have a sacrifice every so often to keep old Mesopotamian death gods from coming up or something from the earth? If if Aegis and Avio Dev don't do updates to DCS, it summons an ancient Mesopotamian death god. That's my theory, at least.
Well,
because when do they not do updates? Those guys are always working. Always doing work.
Hard-working people. Very, very hard-working.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we now make our way to this week's news. This is the newsletter that was posted yesterday. I can't think what it contained. I don't remember. What was in it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. The C130J enters pre-order. Very exciting. And actually, nobody wants to hear me talk. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
C130J by Airplane Simulation Company. It's now available for pre-order. I'm sure many of you have already handed over your hard-earned cash. And just look at the delicious detail in this cockpit. Very, very tasty looking. And this is a very, very modern C-130.
Looks like we saw a bunch of missile warning systems on the back there when it showed the tail, by the way.
Yes.
That was one thing I noticed. There's a bunch of stuff there. So I bet you it's got various versions of some sort of CMOS or missile warning system. That looks great. Look at that.
Yeah. Whoosh.
Yeah, and those flares.
Dumping flares like mad. Moab, of course.
A big one people are saying is you can walk around. This is where you can actually walk around as the cargo chief. whatever you call it.
As the Loadmaster. My understanding
Yeah,
is that
Loadmaster, that was it, yeah.
you can even walk outside of the aircraft, I believe. But we're going to read the announcement shortly.
Yeah, sure.
It was quite cool to see thermals there as
Yeah.
well. We've got a bunch of stuff going on and a heads-up display.
That's really cool.
Very tasty. And lots of dumping cargo, which of course is one of the main missions this will be taking on.
Yeah. Yeah, big old Moab. That's definitely not going to get misused in servers. Definitely not going to be. Yeah. It looks great.
And out it goes. Digital Combat Simulator C130J.
Yeah.
So, pre-order now with a 30% discount.
Cool.
And yeah, luckily we have Tricker here to actually summarize everything for us. The TLDR of the C130 video, it has lots of flares and it can dump cargo.
Yep. It can indeed, yeah.
Did anyone else ever see that YouTube video where they were dropping Humvees out the back of a C-130 and one of their parachutes didn't open?
Oh, yeah,
it was very, very entertaining seeing a Humvee hitting the ground like a lawn dart.
Yeah. I wonder if that'll be simulated failures on the parachutes and stuff. I'm sure they will.
That would be cool. So today we are thrilled to open pre-purchase for the newest, most advanced PC simulation ever made of the C-130J. Few aircraft have written themselves into aviation history as indelibly as the C-130, from daring low-level resupply runs in Vietnam to hurricane relief over the Caribbean. The Herc has hauled people, pallets, and hope for nearly 70 years. Watch the launch trailer now. So, Wags, if this was you, good work. I like it.
Yeah. I like the hope bit. That's very. I felt like a golden eagle landed on my shoulder, and a tear went down. Yeah,
America.
Yeah. Well, they had a Hercules in Team America, didn't they? They had the Team America Herc.
They must have done. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
The most in-depth simulation of all time. So this is your chance to take advantage of the 30% off discount available to all those of you who pre-purchase. Please note that once the module is launched to early access, this discount will no longer be available. Hurry and secure your DCS C130J today.
Thank you for your passion and support. Yeah. we need to if Wags is watch, because he pops in and occasionally. We need to get him to sneak something in so we know he wrote it, something like a little only we would know. Not weird, but just something in there, like I don't know.
Wags, if you're there, blink twice.
Yeah, blink twice. Yeah, something like that. There'd be something funny to throw in there. Yeah, key your mic. But something in the chat in these updates just to let us know that he's writing them. I feel like there needs to be something in there. But yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's a cool addition, isn't it? Let's get into the features.
Absolutely. Yeah, just look at this thing. Get ready to step into the cockpit of the DCS C-130J, the latest model of the most versatile military transport aircraft ever built. The C-130J puts you in command of the world's celebrated tactical transporter, renowned for delivering troops, tanks, supplies, hope, and life-saving relief to hostile and war-torn places. From engine start to wheels up, every switch and system has been painstakingly recreated to let you haul and airdrop exactly as real C-130J crews do. The Herc is perfect for threading mountain valleys at 250 feet, skimming wave tops to deploy infantry, or heaving 22-ton Moab out the back ramp. The C-130J turns every sortie into a mission of muscle, precision, and pure aviator grit. Rally your crew, climb on board, and fly this iconic heavyweight.
Wow, I love that one.
Yeah, this is good. This is all very, very good. And of course, we are very, very excited to give this one a go.
So they need to talk to Polychop, because there's images of what's it called when they have the rapid deployment gear and they kind of fold up the Kiowas, and there's images of I think they could fit 2 or 3 of them in the back of a Herc. That would be a cool little feature, wouldn't it? Deploying Kiowas, yeah.
Venom asking, will this module bring dynamic logistics to DCS? We actually already have a logistics system in DCS. It was added like 1 or 2 years ago. It was added recent-ish. The thing is, to interact with it, currently you can only interact with it using the Chinook or via scripting.
Yeah.
There's not really much in the way of other ways that you can interact with it. So yeah, I guess this will be the third way coming, basically.
Yeah. We talked about this before. I don't know if it was on the stream or we were just chatting, but we were saying that if they finally get the dynamic campaign going and it's a battlefield and you're, going around the battlefield doing your little job or whatever it might be, you could potentially just do an entire campaign where you're just delivering supplies for ground units and they're relying on you as a thing. So you could basically be like, you could almost do DCS from like a pacifist run on a DCS dynamic campaign. Can't wait for that one.
People say this kind of thing regularly. Wars are won based on logistics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What was the old? I think it's worded, but it was something along the lines of like the reason why the World War II the Americans won was for every a Tiger tank was worth say 4 Shermans. The problem is the Americans had 5. This is like the point was you could knock them out, they just kept coming.
Yeah. So, key features of early access: authentic cargo operations, perform realistic cargo loading, management, and aerial delivery procedures, conduct precision airdrops and logistical support missions, showcasing the aircraft's capabilities. Moab, yes, make some noise.
That's great.
This one I was surprised by and I'm excited about. Interactive voiced checklist system. This is exactly what you expect from a crewed aircraft. Fully voiced interactive checklists guide you through every stage of flight operations that enhance immersion and procedural accuracy. First-person Loadmaster experience. This is the other big one, I think. Explore your aircraft in a novel first-person mode that allows you to walk freely inside the cargo bay and around the exterior whilst interacting with aircraft systems and cargo. A first for DCS. I am wondering what happens if your aircraft leaves without you. But hey.
yeah, exactly. Or is it like the toddler reins? You got the reins like you have with little toddlers. You know what I'm about?
Yes.
And it just pulls you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Fully interactive cockpit. The detailed cockpit is fully interactive and features modern digital avionics, HUD, and accurate instrumentation. Each switch and gauge operates exactly as it would in the real aircraft. Realistic flight dynamics. The aircraft is modelled to closely replicate real-world performance, conduct low-level tactical missions, precision cargo drops, and strategic airlift operations with realistic handling. Detailed system simulation. Essentially, C130J systems, including the AE 2100D3 turboprop engines, advanced avionics, cargo management, and defensive countermeasures are accurately simulated with realistic damage modelling. Multi-crew multiplayer. Collaborate with fellow crew in real-time multiplayer sessions. Share cockpit responsibilities, navigation tasks, and systems management seamlessly as a team. Dynamic missions. Fly diverse mission profiles such as tactical deployments, covert special operations, or humanitarian aid flights, all of which highlight the operational versatility of the Super Hercules. Outstanding visual detail. Experience detailed modelling of aircraft interiors and exteriors, realistic textures, dynamic lighting, and immersive cockpit design. Comprehensive documentation and training. Detailed manuals, interactive training, missions, and checklists ensure a thorough understanding of the aircraft that is suitable for both newcomers and experienced aviators. Today, more than 20 nations rely on the Super Hercules for everything from special operations infiltration to firefighting. And there's that
Pretty
big
cool
button for you to click.
Yeah.
And what the hell's been going on in chat? Tea Kettle Barbecue just sent 20 Deep Hack gift memberships. Thank you very much indeed. You're just trying to give me a hard time when it comes to reading out the members at the end of the video. But thank you very, very much.
Holy crap. Amazing, T.
Yeah, thank you so much. As Byron says, nice one.
Yeah. An absolute... Oh, he's done it again.
For real? For real? Yeah. What is going on?
He's dropping sub Moabs on the stream.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you, sir. Thank you ever so much. That is excellent. Wow. So that's 40 gifted subs have just been dropped into chat. That might be more. That may be more than the number of people who are not members viewing right now. That's kind of crazy. It's amazing. Oh my.
Amazing.
Okay. Conquer 4 can do American Logistics Simulator where you're just delivering the Burger King truck to the front line to boost morale. Funnily enough, I was thinking exactly that because like anywhere that the US deploys, they deploy like Burger King and Pizza Hut and whatever else. Like
Yeah.
They must use
Starbucks.
Hercules for that, surely.
Yeah, absolute Starbucks for it. Yeah.
Starbucks,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. See, I would say here's the thing. What we could do with the Herc is like they were saying about like special operations and stuff. It'd be cool to do like one thing would be really cool. What's it called? The like Halo drops. What's the other thing that's got? It's like a weird thing on the nose that grabs the cable. What's that called? Do you know what
I know
about
what you're
the
talking about.
rapid extraction gear, or whatever it's called?
I've
And they
forgotten
pop
what
a
that's
balloon
called.
up and they grab it and it looks like a fork sticking out
That was
the
only
front
ever
of the,
tested. That's not a real thing that's used today.
Is it still not used? I thought it was. I thought it was used for a bit. I could have sworn that was used for a bit. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, we could have done stuff like that, or even just like you get special operations guys and they jump out the back and they do a Halo jump out the back of the plane, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's the sort of stuff you just want to see those visuals. Because here's the thing, right? Because there's something
the Fulton device.
Fulton, the Fulton device. Yeah,
that was only ever tested, and I doubt it was ever tested with humans because it's absolutely terrifying as a concept.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it'd be cool to get stuff like, even if you get guys jump out the back of the plane, obviously they're gonna have parachuters and stuff, but like, you get a dude and it looks he's in the Halo gear and he jumps out the back. There you go, Fulton Skyhook, there you go. And people jump out the back, and if they can do right campaigns for this, or you can put stuff in missions so it feels like you're actually dropping in a special forces group and you're doing that. It's about that feedback, isn't it? It's not just, you don't want to just completely use your imagination, but actually to have things look how they will, or they should, would be really, really cool. I think this has a lot of potential. I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is a really good module to bring in some of the MSFS guys.
Yes.
And you're going to bring in the guys that love, it's basically the air equivalent of like, was it Truck Simulator kind of thing. Some people just love doing that. They love zoning out and chilling out and talking to chat and carting stuff around. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that's what we need now that we have the C130. The loaders that they have in the US Air Force for putting cargo on board. We need the loaders.
Yeah. We laugh, right? There's like freaking like supermarket simulators where people literally spend the entire time They literally do power wash simulator. Like, it sounds crazy, but if some developer came in, some third party, and it's like a $20 module, you laugh, and it is funny. But I could totally see people being like, "Oh, it's a module where you load rockets into a rocket pod. You're the ground crew, or you're the load master, or something." And that's literally what you're doing, and you have to organize it all and do all that stuff.
Yes.
I think there's a market for this stuff. You do it right.
There's a market for
niche. It's niche, but that's why ED doesn't necessarily have to do it. They can get a third party to do it.
Yeah,
it'd be fun. Be silly, but it'd be fun. Yeah,
it would indeed.
Yeah.
So, moving on, we have the development progress. From Airplane Simulation Company, what's already done. Over the past years, we've completed the core flight model, engine, APU, electrical, hydraulic, fuel systems, and avionics systems. The cargo bay is fully walkable in VR and flat screen, with rigged physics for CDS bundles, and the GBU-43/B MOAB. Network synchronized multi-crew is fully implemented for 2 players. We are eventually going to get a third. What we're still doing. As we approach release, key focus points for the team include finalization of audio effects in the cargo bay, damage modeling, level of detail, integration of the third multi-crew slot, and the completion of a vehicle airdrop system in partnership with Eagle Dynamics. We're also tuning parachute deployment mechanics, including introducing extraction chutes for heavy equipment airdrops and physically simulated static lines. Post-early access launch, once the C130J-30 is released, our focus will turn to the MC130J. This variant, operated by AFSOC, I guess that's the Air Force Special Operations something, brings aerial refueling capabilities, including player-to-player AAR in multiplayer. The MC variant also includes an ANAAS 52 VEOIR pod and a third crew station for the CSO, or Combat Systems Officer. We thank our community SMEs, test teams, Eagle Dynamics for their support, and every pilot eager to get those 4 fans of freedom turning. The Herc is rounding the corner. See you on the ramp soon.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So I'm curious, the MC variant, was that armed? Was that thing armed? I'm not talking necessarily whether it was like, I'm not talking like gunship level, but but there's definitely been some variants where they've stuck, for instance, like Hellfires on them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's probably not, but it's just interesting. It's combat systems officer.
Well, here's the fact sheet. What does it have? Yeah, no, it doesn't have weapons as far as I can see.
Yeah. But the AAR, the air-to-air refueling, people have been asking for that for ages now. So that's another step into a new direction. Yeah. It's really cool. I won't be necessarily, personally for myself, I won't be rushing to get this, but that's not anything to do with the quality of it or what it is or anything like that. You will. I know you will for sure.
And you know why? You already know why I'm going to get this.
Why? Go on.
It has a lot of avionics, and I'm all about the avionics.
Oh, yes, of course you are. Yes.
I want to push buttons, and I want to have screens, and I want to play with stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. You are. Speaking of which, actually, I was going to say this earlier, with the new little bits for the Hornet and the Apache George or whatever, maybe that could be, I'm giving you extra work now, but and you get 50 likes and you give a little bonus.
Yes.
And you do addendums.
I need to do some addendums, in fact.
Yeah, that could be a cool little thing. I just thought of that earlier. Yeah. Nimrod with Sidewinders.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Hopefully it doesn't catch fire.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Because there were versions of the Nimrod that had a nasty habit of just catching fire.
Yeah. But they were some of the last of the British big
Comet
planes, weren't they, really? Yeah, the big old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it the once the Nimrod went away, that was it, wasn't it? Then we just had what was the 3-engined refueler that we were using up until a certain point?
I can't
remember
what
it was now.
The
one we used in the Gulf.
Remember. Nice. But yes, I'm very excited for the C130. This is a good one.
Yeah. It's a very well made module, you can tell.
Something else we're both excited for.
Oh yeah. What's this?
Ooh, John,
yes.
tell us all about this.
Yes. So this is the AH1G mod by Violent Nomad. Now this has been in works. Violent Nomad. Is it Violent Nomad? I think it is. Great name. So this is if people are wondering, this is the Gulf variant, the G. This is the Vietnam era. So there's no guided weapons, which is good for him because obviously that's all behind the SDK, that kind of stuff. So this has got gun pods, rocket pods. I think the turret, the chin turret, had either a 7.62 minigun, a 30mm grenade launcher, or both. Here you go. You got some shots of this. And it's shaping up. It really is. It's slow but steady, I think, with this one. But for as much as you can do in the SDK, without the SDK, I think this is about as far as you could take an attack helicopter. And it's really come together. So this is a screenshot showing off the latest versions of the cockpit. Also, he's overhauling the actual external models, and also he's doing. I think these are the FFARs, which are the precursor to the Hydras, so they use slightly different. They look the same from the external, but they have different rocket motors and stuff, and so they behave a bit different.
In my head, this is always somebody stammering.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, basically, these are the earlier versions of the rockets. Now, whether these are things that will break IC or not, or be included in the mod, I don't know. But yeah, they're effectively. I wouldn't say not as good as Hydras, but they're early versions of it. So he's modeling all these and doing bits and pieces and stuff. So it's just little bits and pieces to show it off. But it's nice to see some updates. It went quiet for a little bit, and now it started peaking up again. So this, as far as mods go, this is pretty damn cool. And some of the screenshots look awesome.
Yes, I agree.
And yeah,
as Odd Dead Meat says, though, isn't a Cobra just a Huey on Ozempic?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I would love. I keep banging on about this. I want a Cobra.
Yeah,
and I think a whiskey Cobra would be the best one. But I want a Cobra because they're really cool, and they're.
I want a Zulu Cobra.
Zulu would be the most advanced. Zulu's badass. It's absolutely badass. But I think a whiskey kind of hits all the different. What's the word? Hits all the different spots in various different ways.
I do like a whiskey.
I love a good whiskey. Well, you're Scottish.
I love a good whiskey.
Love a good whiskey. Aye. But yeah, so a bit of that. But no, yeah, this is really cool. Anyway, so there is a Discord for this. I don't have the link, but you can look it up for the Violet Nomad Cobra, and it's really coming together. And I think what's interesting is that video shows a lot more than certain full fidelity modules that have been in development for quite some time. Not to throw shade, but there are certain full fidelity modules that have been in development for quite some time. And a mod. I understand it's a lot less more work.
And we've only seen renders out of engine.
Yes, exactly. So
yes.
Now I understand there's a lot more work in a full fidelity module, but this is still very impressive to see a Cobra to this level. So
Golden GNU asking if we think it's the secret helicopter or not. I know that you have thoughts on this, John.
I'm beating this horse to death, but I'm absolutely almost convinced. I'm probably wrong, and this is gonna be hilarious because all we do is read the tea leaves when we do these streams. But and it's fun. It's fun to speculate. But if I had to put money down, I think the secret module is a Whiskey Cobra, and it makes sense to me a bunch of different reasons. First of all, from a business decision, it makes sense because a lot of different operators use the Whiskey Cobra. It also represents, you could potentially do various technological levels. So I think it went into service about 85, 86, and then it went out of service in 2018. So that's a long lifetime. Obviously, it got updates and changes during that period, but you can basically simulate anything from, Panama to, Afghanistan to anything modern. And if you do various, you could almost do, Joan, you got the tick box on the KO50, whether you want to have it with the Iglas or not, or something like that. You could just do all like the Kiowa. The Kiowa, you can have different equipment, can't you? You could basically do like an early version and a late version based upon like equipment and stuff. So yeah, I think the Whiskey Cobra, and because it just got retired in it was 2018 and got replaced by the Zulu. I'm pretty sure the documentation's out there for it now. And
well, I'm going to say that chat are talking about what they think the secret helicopter project is. Oh, actually, chat, while you're listening to me, subscribe, like, and comment.
Yes,
please, and thank you.
Do that. But yeah, that's what I think is.
I think it's going to be an Alouette.
You reckon?
No.
An Alouette.
You weren't sure whether to take me serious or not.
I was like, really? And I was like, surely not deep. But
it's definitely going to be an Alouette.
You've disappointed me in the past, so.
Alrighty. Yeah. And onwards to another community mod that has an interesting update. Take a look at this. We've got, I think that's Valtech is the name of the mod maker. Oh, I've actually not hit play. MiG-25 Beta 2 update. Here. This is a video that was on their channel on YouTube. And this is a very, very early Soviet interceptor.
This is like Cold War, like, so it looks like they've got the some sort of reconnaissance system, which is cool. And then they've got the BM model, which is your your air superiority guy or interceptor guy.
Yeah, and, this is of course the aircraft that scared the Americans into creating the F-15.
Yeah, exactly. And then they saw what the MiG-25 could actually do, and like, oh, it can't turn. It goes too fast.
And it also melts when it goes fast.
Yeah, exactly. I think if I remember rightly, I remember reading something that basically said that if the MiG-23 and the MiG-25 were made using like Western level equipment, like so the production was at that level, and also that the materials, they would have been exceptional. It wasn't the design that let them down, it was the production, if that makes sense. So a lot of the technology and a lot of the gear in it's really advanced for the time. It's just that the quality control, you could argue, wasn't quite there. But
also they didn't have enough titanium to make it non-melty.
And another thing people have to keep in mind as well is that, like, we see the most of these aircraft when they're export variants, and obviously the export variants are probably not being used quite as well as the like regular Russian forces, and B, they probably don't have all the bells and whistles. So that's got an R-77, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's quite modernized.
The 25, I think that's a really cool like part of history. It's a cool looking jet, like the 23 as well.
Yes.
I hope this is really cool. Obviously, that's a Strike Eagle, but I hope it's really cool seeing these mods. I think this would be really cool fodder for third parties. But like we said earlier on, a lot of these export models, so that improves the ability for third parties and ED to get hold of the documentation. If it was never exported, it's probably really hard. But if they're going to get hold of it, that's how they did the MiG-29, wasn't it? They got hold of was it a Slovakian version or something, or a Czech? I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember, but yes, it was.
Yeah, it was a export variant. So I think the 25 is cool, man. I think it's cool.
It is. It's a very,
23.
very cool aircraft. And it was exported and widely used. Ozdeadmeat asking, isn't most of the titanium for Russia? Today it is, yes. But at the time this was being designed and built, they didn't have it. They either didn't have enough or didn't have enough of the correct grade of titanium, is my understanding.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it was being earmarked for the subs, wasn't it? It was for the not the Akulas, because they're not titanium, but like the Papa classes and the Alpha class subs. I think they were like, if we're going to put it towards anything, we're going to put it towards them. So but yeah, really cool jets these. And the fact that people make, again, how talented is this, that someone's making this,
super
in their spare time? And it looks awesome.
It does. I look forward to this. Very, very cool. Yeah. MiG-25 Beta 2 out now. You know what to do.
Have you thought, Deep, that it's interesting that when ED kind of made it fairly public that they're like, yeah, we're probably not going to do Red 4 jets because it's difficult to hold of the documentation, and then B, they were like, it's a bit of a hot potato, we can't really touch it. Yeah. It almost acted a little bit as a green flag for a bunch of modders to go, you know what, screw it, we're probably not going to get this, so we're going to make our own mod for the meantime. Because we've had the Su-22, we've had some cool sub mods for the MiG-29, haven't we? Is it like the SMT, whatever it's called, and then the Polish one.
And then now there's all those flanker mods as well. There's is it Project Flanker, I think, that has all the Indian flanker and various other advanced versions of the flanker.
Yeah, so like it, in a way, them saying, we're not going to touch it right now, or at least for right now, it's kind of given the green light to a bunch of modders to go, well, we're not going to see it. If you build it, they will come. And they're like, right, we're going to build it ourselves. So yeah, I think that's what's happened a little bit. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool.
Just noticed that Ozdeadmeat saying that there's a video for Olympus V2 that literally just dropped. Well, it says 8 hours ago. But yeah, I didn't know this.
Cool.
This is me seeing this for the first time. I guess this is John seeing this for the first time as well. New features that will be awesome for chopper pilots, says Ozdeadmeat.
Very interesting.
I'm guessing there's some voiceover here. Yeah, here we go. I wonder, actually, we can maybe just have the audio. Although I don't know. I don't know if I'm routing the audio. Yes, I am. Okay.
Yeah. Check for music.
But we have SRS integration.
Ooh,
that's
SRS.
right. If the server DCS Olympus is installed on has an SRS server running, then you can communicate via SRS purely through the Olympus client. Not only can you transmit and receive and tune to a frequency of your choice, but you can also see what frequencies players are tuned to and snap to them. You can create multiple audio sources and connect them to radios as you wish. A use case for this would be playing a firefight ambience while transmitting on the radio, role-playing as a JTAC. We have also enabled the ability to assign loudspeakers to units.
Can you 6cc
and then assign audio sources to that loudspeaker using the SRS intercom channel. This will let you fly around blasting Flight of the Valkyrie, and other people can hear it if they're close enough. You'll have noticed some significant UI changes, no doubt, and I won't list them all, but they are myriad. One notable change is the introduction of a tablet mode, where you can do everything without a mouse and keyboard. Secondly, we've added the ability to assign lasers to ground units. You can instruct a ground unit to shine either a targeting or IR laser to a point. This means you don't have to own combined arms to manually laser a ground unit. There are several more improvements and quality of life features. We have improved the miss on purpose modes for AAA and FLAC especially.
Miss on purpose.
AI formation setting UI now allows you to set a top-down layout.
That's very cool.
Yes. Why can't this be baked into the game, says Venom.
Drawings from the mission editor are now imported and shown on the Olympus map view.
Nice.
User settings are now persistent. So visibility settings are per
hey, who
user
knows? Maybe a bit like Current Hill or Masin. Maybe ED will see this and go,
as will hot groups, favorites, and radios. And you can set unit spawn heading. and make use of our new keyboard shortcuts. There you go. I hope you're excited by the new features. Come join the Olympus Discord if you have questions or want to shower us in praise. Link in the description. Thanks for watching.
Nice. Yeah, now I'm going to be copyright struck.
Oh no. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, let's. I'm going to stop it there. Actually, I'm going to turn off the audio there and then play it because I'm going to get copyright struck.
Yeah. Probably a couple seconds. You're all right.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get away with it this time. Yeah, this is super cool. Super
very cool.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for that, Ozdead Meat, for that shout there. That was well worth having a peek. Very, very nice. Yeah. Let me adjust my channels again. There we go. Okay, we're back to normal now. Haha! Marvelous. So yeah, that's very, very cool. That's all the news we have for this week, I believe.
Yeah, as far as I know.
That's basically everything. So that was a good one. That was a bumper issue where we had 2 weeks worth of news and an update and C130 pre-order and a bunch of community mods. It's all very, very good to see. I'm now going to talk about Deepak's Ground Crew and Tea Kettle Barbecue. Thank you so much. Although you have made my job very difficult now. Has this even updated? I don't know that this actually hasn't updated. I have to refresh the page. So yes, sorry.
I've got the new guys. I've just scrolled up. So if you want the new guys, I don't mind reading those out and saving you your voice after you've done the visuals if it's not on your list.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm on the case. I've got it up now. There are now 67 members of the Ground Crew, which is pretty wild. Thank you ever so much. So yes, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. It's a real big help to me and to the channel. If you want to further support me in creating my tutorials and content like this, keep in mind we're going to be getting people on the show soon to interview. That's going to be a cool new thing. But yeah, if you want to support all of that, you have the option of joining Deepak's Ground Crew for a small monthly fee. Click the join button below. That gives you access to a special Discord server where we all hang out. And also we occasionally fly together, and I post some bits and bobs in there as well. Thank you very, very much, those of you who have already supported me. Big thank you to Channel Right, JR Walker, Mr. Yeti, Sean IM81, John Bluer, Tea Kettle Barbecue, Whiskey Dale, Stuart McLean, Mangash, Willow Wilson, Byron Farrow, Osprey, Snooblarin, Interesting Story, Frantic Stone, Tim Wasco, Ozdead Meat, Sledge Collar, Tarka Chops, Attack Debris, JP Gibbons, Frederick Laystrom, Kerry Kev TPA, Paul Dillon, Shade Slayer 909. I don't know some of these, so I have to look carefully. Thorbjorn Sandem, Alaskan 75, Daniel Cohen, Giles Peralt, Alex, Arda Usken, Beta Tooth, Byron Alenis, Dan Green. Oh, some of these I can't read. Devil Dog 69, Paul Cope, Marty, Big Dave, Kaya Luntu, Tontu, sorry, Colonel Billington, Melwin. This guy's in Japanese. Sorry, I can't read Japanese. Desmond Guy, Carl Roberts, Brent Clipperton, Warrior 4588X, Clive Parrott, Vinny, Wesley Gomez, Commander Stew, Irish Pat 64, Nate, Conrad Lawrence, Thorn, Jason O, Vitor Arbex, Mauricio, John Bradshaw, Saul Rack PR, Daniel Lauk, Social Lubricant, I like that one, Jason Brown, Gecko, Viking Cat, Tomash Wota, Rune of Orm, and Luca. Thank you all very, very much. And thank you, Tea Kettle Barbecue. Very much indeed. That was very kind of you. Thank you ever so much. Oh, dear. Yes, that extended the stream quite a bit.
Yeah. Smashed it, mate. You did all right.
Thank you. I did try.
Yeah.
So, yes, you've been John Bloor. You can visit twitch.tv/John Bloor to check out John's channel. And I wonder, John, what have you been up to?
I've been up to stuff away from streaming, but I can say this much is there is a 95% chance that I will be back to streaming in August. So yeah, I've been very mysterious up until recently, but it's because I am literally not allowed to talk about stuff. But there's going to be some cool stuff that's going to pop up in August. So you'll know it when you see it, and you'll see me online. Yeah, it's going to be cool, and it's going to be mostly it's going to be an art project which you guys are going to really like. It's kind of cool, and then I'll also be streaming
aviation-related art project.
Yes, aviation-related art project, and I'm also going to be streaming. I'll probably do some DCS again, and then also I'm going to be doing some other stuff as well. Again, I cannot get into it because yes, it's aviation-related. That's what I can say. It's all related. So yeah, but it's gonna be cool. So hopefully I will see you guys soon on the Twitch side. But as you know, you see me here rambling on about all sorts of ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, come to Deephack's channel to see John Bloor.
Yeah, that's true, Oz. It is August. Yes. Okay.
Well spotted, that man.
Yes, it is actually. I just realised it's just turned August. Yeah. So sometime this month, is all I can say. I can't give dates because it's stuff that's not in my control at the moment. But when I know more, I will. So anyway, sorry. I'm sorry about being mysterious. Trust me, guys. It'll be cool when you see it. So.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And I've been Deepak. Every Saturday at around about 6:30 p.m. UK time, I post a new video. Currently, I'm doing a series of tutorials about the A10C2. Next week, I will fire a shot for the first time in the aircraft on camera. So get ready for that. And that's always followed by the DCS news, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching right now. Thank you all very much for watching. Fly safe, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta.